I went onto my Facebook page and I got a profile picture of my siblings and I. And that's right, I'm the little girl in the front there. That's my older sister and brothers. Yep, that's me. I like this photo because it's got a really strong sunlight on it. You get some good contrasts. I picked up a piece of paper that was A4 in size and I ended up halving it to be A5. I decided I would trace from my computer screen using it as a light table, much easier. You can do this on the TV as well. As I started sketching, I did the shadows behind the actual objects, so it was easier when I actually worked on my work, on my drawing. So you can see I'm using quite a sketchy kind of feel to it, and also I've got my hand halfway up the pencil, so I've got a little bit more leverage. So just here I'm doing a line, and in that line I'm going to make that line belong to either the foreground or the background. And I've always got a view to this, so I'm not actually doing lines. The lines will disappear because I want this really to be about form and rendering. So what I'm drawing here isn't the actual hair, I'm drawing behind the hair. When I take that off, it looks a little bit creepy. It's a little bit like, oh my goodness, what is that? Because there's only one setting, it's on or off, so it's either dark or light. So I'm going to work at doing my tones and shading and so on. You can see where I'm looking behind the line, making the line belong to either the foreground or the background. I used a 2B pencil and I made sure that it was really, really sharp. And now you can see me doing it in fast motion. And as I'm doing this, I'm definitely not shading in front. I'm taking those lines and I'm pushing those lines into the background. At one point I'd overworked the face, so I'd lost some of the highlights and the light areas. If you look in the corner of the hair, you can just see there that I have made it really dark behind the hair. So I just want to talk about how to get that shading at that point. So to begin with, I do it on the actual computer screen to get the shapes. I'm not so concerned about the shapes. So when I'm doing this, you can see I go behind and I'm pressing quite heavily, and this is how it works. So I can use a hatch, then I press hard and then I press lighter. That's a mid-tone. It's harder, and I've practiced a few times. I go harder, press hard, press lighter, press lighter. So I'm going dark to mid to light tone, where I don't press very heavily at all. In this one I use a lot of scumbling as well, so that means lots of circles, and then I can press harder to make that dark tone. Or when I go overlay, it gets darker as it crosses over. That is called scumbling. So I'm just going to draw a potato or an apple or whatever it is. And I've made the line so dark, it's going to be really distracting. So what I have to do is take that line and I make it part of the shape, on the inside of the shape, so there's no outline at all. I make the outline disappear. And I'm using scumbling to do that. I'm pressing heavy, then I'm pressing lighter, and that gives me form. It's called rendering. It's rendering of form. See this outline here? I'm going to make that outline disappear as well. So when I do that, I shade as dark as the line behind it, and then I just ease off so it's in the background. Take that outline. There's still lots of outlines on there and I want them just to disappear. There's also a little trick, it's a little design device, and you put an horizon line behind it so it's like the edge of the table, or it might be where the wall paper sits or something. Just gives you a sense of distance. You noticed also I've left a little area of white just near the ball so it looks a little bit like it's floating slightly. And I'd go in the direction that the wood of the table might be. So I'm going across. I'm not scumbling, I'm going straight across. It gives me the idea that it might be a flat surface. It tells my eye how to work. And when I work into the background, I'll just sort of ease it out. So I'm not that worried about what happens in the background. It could be a shadow or anything, it's just not as distracting. But I'm trying to make all those outlines disappear. Just using a little bit of scumbling there. You get into the outlines and scumble near those so that they're softening into it. See, I've still got a line there. See, they're everywhere, aren't they, those lines? And we still need to make that line disappear using a little bit of straight hatching there and contouring. And the direction of the table is going across. Pressing really hard to get that shadow, and that's now, I'm going to try and make it look like it's not floating anymore. Making some of those lines disappear so they look a little bit more realistic. And I'm changing the direction of the background just so it's not confusing with the table edge. Making more of those lines disappear. It really takes time to build up. You really look and you take your time on these shadows and you're rendering, making them look rounded. Trying to make them look three-dimensional. Put a little stalk in there. A little bit late to be doing that.